everyone, welcome to Stampin' Grotto. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make this hello card. This card is made entirely of scraps, but I will be sharing with you in the description below all of the products that are shown in here, or ones that will be upcoming that will be available with the new annual catalog. So stay tuned. Okay, so we are going to take a piece of basic black cardstock and we are going to cut it to 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score with it along the long side, so score short at 4.25, and this is going to make our basic card base. And then we are going to take, I just had some scrap pieces. This is Sweet Sorbet. I just had some scrap pieces of the cardstock, which I have cut. These are all at least 5.5 inches long, and I have just cut them all to 1/8 of an inch wide. And then this is some of the designer series paper, the 6x6 designer series paper, and I have just left it at 6 inches, and I have cut one at 1 inch, 2 at 3/4 of an inch, and 2 at 1/2 an inch. I have also used the deckled rectangles die set, and using 3rd and 4th smallest dies to cut out my layering pieces for my sentiment. So I have stamped the Happy Hello from the Biggest Wish stamp set. I've stamped it in just the tuxedo black ink, centered, and I have die cut it using this deckled rectangles die. And then just to create a bit of a layer, I have taken the next die up and cut out a piece of plain Sweet Sorbet cardstock. So this one's a really easy card to make. And then because I am using basic black for my card base, I have gone ahead and cut a piece of basic white cardstock. So this is cut to 4 inches by 5.25 inches, and this will just go in the center. So you could stamp, you know, a hello in the center of this. You can leave it blank. You could use a different stamp set. For now, I'm just going to leave it completely blank because I'm not sure how I want to finish off the inside of the card. But I wanted to show you how you can use scrap pieces, because these were all scrap pieces, so were these, to create a wonderful card without, you know, cutting into a piece of 12 by 12 or whatever. So what we're going to do is we are going to layer these on here. So I'm just going to put the biggest one in the center, and then the smaller ones going outside. So we can layer them just like this, as long as they completely cover your paper. So I'm just going to use some of my liquid glue. And I'm just going to lay that down roughly center. So just like this. And then I'm going to layer my other pieces. Alongside that. And I'm just going to eyeball this, trying to keep them relatively even. So I'm going to take my smallest piece, and I'm just going to put that here. So just like that. And then I am just going to put very thin amount of glue right beside all of these strips. And I'm just going to layer these 1/8 inch wide strips of my Sweet Sorbet on either side. Now you could do this in coordinating colors, so if you were doing this with a different designer series paper that was like multicolored, for example, you could do this with various shades that match the designer series paper. You could create some rainbow effects with different designer series paper, so you would layer a bunch of different ones on. So there's lots of different ways that you could potentially do this, all with scrap pieces of paper. So this is a common way for me. I keep it somewhat simple. This is a common way for me to use up some of my scrap pieces of cardstock, and so you could do this same effect just with some cardstock. So if you had a whole bunch of scrap cardstock in your stash, you could do this just with that cardstock. And that's a really great time that you could do some layered effects. You could also use some of the like more basic shape dies that we have and cut out a bunch of those and create a pattern on the front of a card. So now I'm just going to take my paper snips and I'm just going to cut all of these off. You could also do this on your paper trimmer. Okay, so now we have our card base completed. I'm just going to go ahead and glue my basic white insert for my inside in. And then for these two pieces, I'm going to just layer this with this. I'm just going to center that kind of to the best of my ability. And then I'm just going to use a few Stampin' Dimensionals. Because I just want to pop this up a little bit on the card just to add a little bit more dimension and detail. And I'm just going to go ahead and try and center that just like that. And then I'm going to take some of my rhinestone gems and my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm just going to put a few just to help accent it. So there you have a fairly simple card to make. You could mass make these, so you could just cut up all of your scrap pieces that you have lying around and make a whole bunch of cards all at the same time. Using the liquid adhesive to go along the edges to kind of accent your designer series paper, I find works quite well. That's why I do them separately. But I do love doing this to use up my scraps. So just a little tip, little suggestion for you there. If you are interested in seeing more videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help get my channel out there, and I have gone ahead and linked, to the best of my ability, everything in the description below that I used to create this card. Now, some of these items will be going away. There's a new annual catalog coming out soon, so some of these items may only be available for a short time, but know that this is a great way to create a card with any of your supplies, really. And again, a great way to use up, you know, scraps from your stash. So thanks everyone, and until next time.